But let's go through your ratings, Heath Pearce. Let's start from back to front.
Yeah, Matt Turner, hard to rate, made the saves that he needed to do. I mean,
like what, 6.5? I mean, he didn't have much to do.
6.5. I mean, I can't give him too much of a high end, but again, the statistics of Matt Turner are fantastic. So I'm going to give him an extra half point just on the fact that he continues to get clean sheets, whether he's got to work hard or not. He's there to make those things.
Arsenal legend, by the way. He's a new Arsenal legend.
Yes, Arsenal legend. Again, he's another guy that realized that, maybe my best chances aren't to be playing. Just go to a bigger club, and now I'm going to be a starter. Zach Steffen not getting the time, but performs well with the national team and is the starter on the team. So I'm going to give him a 7. Backline, Sergiño Dest, I actually really liked his performance today. Yes, there were 2 to 3 moments where he wasn't great defensively that I think could cost us again. He needs to be a defender first and attacking second. We know that's probably not ever going to happen, so I'll take what he did offensively. And offensively, I thought that he was really good. He played some good balls in the box. He was the relief. He was the answer to a lot of problems when they were bunkered in or the spaces were tight. Centrally, he was the answer out wide, like you mentioned before, for a lot of the time. So I'm going to give him a 7.5, maybe even an 8. 2 center backs, solid jobs. I'm going to give them 7.5s, 8s. I'm going to give them 7.5s. Anthony Robinson, again, one that I worry about defensively still. But scoring the goal, he gets an 8 for me. I'd still actually go with Sergiño Dest probably being a better performance than Anthony Robinson, even though he did score the goal. I'd take the goal away because I don't want to discredit that whatsoever. That's in isolation. Fantastic. Got us the win. But I liked Sergiño Dest today, and I haven't been saying that a lot lately. Musa McKinney-Adams, first half, very different than the second half. Adams was phenomenal, covering a ton of ground, doing all the dirty work that made it so when we were vulnerable, it wasn't too bad.
I'll jump in really quick and say that Tyler Adams had 91 touches on the ball, most for any player on the U.S. men's national team. Yeah. And he had 10 recoveries, right? So he was obviously the most active defensively as well. So, yeah, my only issue with Tyler Adams, and maybe this was planned by El Salvador, was that I feel like they dropped off and let him try to be the playmaker and gave him a little bit more space. And I thought maybe because he saw that space, wasn't as clean with the ball, that he's a little sloppy with the ball when he won it, which obviously he's going to have to clean up against a very good Canada team. But sorry to interrupt.
No, he had it. No, I mean, I don't want to go through all. I mean, do you want all my numbers? I think they're pretty arbitrary, but just
no. I think keep going.
Tyler Adams, again, I thought was solid, especially defensively in transition. He covers a ton of ground, which I think is scary to think that that's the thing that we have to do if we have our fullbacks high and wide. Like you mentioned, there was a few buildups that he took some bad touches, had a few turnovers that, again, talk about Canada, 1-2 passes, they're in your box. It's not like El Salvador, who lacked a little bit of that speed and pace and transition to really, really punish you. So I give him, it's almost 7s across the board for me. Even looking at Pereira, I could go up between 7s and 8s. Nobody had a bad performance except for Christian Pulisic.
Let's go to Christian Pulisic because he notably struggled. I mean, you could tell he struggled.
5 or 4.
4 is low, but okay. I'm here for it.
For a few reasons. One, it was like 25 minutes into the game when I first realized that he was on the field.
Do you think he was trying too hard?
At times, I think he gets desperate and starts looking for the ball, and I think that makes it really hard because the technical ability of our team right now, we have the ability to move the ball across the field, and it's not just one-dimensional where he can go and find it every time. Players will look past him or not look to him always, and I think that's a strength to us, but obviously for him, from a frustration standpoint, he's going looking for the ball. I think he did try hard at times, found himself in a mix where it reminded me of like Bumblebee soccer, of everybody just kicking their legs in a tight space of 4 or 5 players, just kicking the ball away from him, poking the ball away, so to speak. And then never really found a rhythm as to how. Of course, he had a few moments and bright things on the field, but for the most part, he either turned the ball over, wasn't really involved in the attack, didn't seem to have ideas, looked a little bit off, like body language didn't look like the Pulisic that we want. That even when he's trying hard, usually his body language is like, get me the ball, I'm going to carry the team on my back. And it just looked a little bit slow. Like I said on HQ, he looked almost injured in the sense that like he looked stiff. His body didn't look loose. It didn't look relaxed. It didn't look, and I don't know if that's the cold or whatever, but he just looked different to me. And from start to finish, and maybe I was overanalyzing how he was going to react, knowing that he usually comes into the national team and picks up his game, right? Finds his rhythm from a bad place. And we all know that, right? You bring a player in and it's nice to be back with their family, with the family again in the U.S. and part of the national team, because you are sometimes very isolated in faraway places, especially during COVID. So I would say 4, max 5 in his performance.
Okay. So let's just play devil's advocate here and give him the benefit of the doubt in some ways. Do you feel like teams are stacking him up in a way that they're not stacking up any other players? Like they're targeting him?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So he's got to work through a couple other things that maybe some of the other players on our team don't. That's one. Second, do you feel like if it wasn't working and there was a noticeable stack up by El Salvador, there should have been some communication with Gregg Berhalter, either from Christian to him or to Berhalter to the team? Like, why don't Timo Weah and Christian just switch for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
15 minutes. Just switch sides and see what happens. Maybe he could unlock some things on the right side. Maybe that combination with Dest on the right side could be something that gets him going in a little bit of a different way. I thought that would have been worth trying.
Yeah,
and that's something I wanted to throw out there. But I do want to give a shout out to Berhalter because it wasn't working, and he took him off. He was the first sub. And
well, you got 3 games, so I'd use him more in the other games, knowing like, why am I going to take him 90 if it's not working? It's not working. And the fact that you've got Brendan Aronson on the bench, the fact that you've got other players that you can go to on the bench that didn't even play in this one, I think it's a great shout. It takes a lot of maturity for Gregg to look at Christian Pulisic, who's in a bit of a down right now, and figure it out and say, hey, it's not working today. We'll give him another run because he is Christian Pulisic. He is our best player when he's at his best. But today's not his day. No problem. We've got other players that can do the job.
I wish that he wasn't our captain. I wish that Tyler Adams was just the out-and-out captain. Okay. Tyler Adams is in a position in the field that is more captain-esque. I feel like center backs, goalkeepers even, because you can see the whole field. You can kind of maintain the pace. You're a little bit more of the glue of the team. And when you give it to an attacking player, you just want them to focus on attacking, baby, not be a leader. And so I just feel like that adds a layer of responsibility to Christian that I don't think he needs. And I don't even know if he wants. I mean, I'm sure you're never going to turn down the captain's armband for your national team, but I just wish that Tyler just had it out and out and Christian could just worry about scoring goals and being awesome going forward. So I don't know. Daniel says Pulisic should always start. He's one of our best players. He will figure it out. Well, that's the question. I guess I'll lead into it. Do you think Pulisic should start the next game? Or do you feel like, as I mentioned on HQ, that he came on as a super sub against Mexico, and obviously that worked to great effect, and he scored a vital goal for us to help us beat our biggest rivals? Maybe that's the best role for him right now until he can get that. I don't know. I mean, I think you start him. I think you start him, but
yeah, if right now, I don't necessarily think you need to start him. I think Gregg Berhalter has the relationship with Christian Pulisic to be like, hey, how can we get you back at your best, right? And I don't think you play preferential treatment. He's still the top player. If the World Cup was today, you start him every single game for sure, because you're going to get that out of him. That's different. But like when you have these 3 games in a week, you have the excuse to say, where do I best use him? What's the best opponent? What's the best way to get him and his confidence back so he can go back to his club team and thrive and perform? And obviously they have a little bit of a break now with Chelsea, but I look at that and I think like there's some way to massage that. That's not just whether or not like he deserves to be the starter or you get him another chance, because he's going to continue to get better. And these games are hard, man. Like at these types of temperatures, it's not a natural feeling. It's a mentality thing, right? And I'm not saying he had it or didn't have it. But it's mind over everything else in those games, right? Like a tackle hurts much more. Your body doesn't run naturally. Like your hands are cold, your feet are cold. You're not playing it out of your mind. You're in your mind a lot of the game, and you're having to sort of motivate yourself. And so I don't know if those are the right places for him to get these to get the starts over anybody else. But I think he'll get another start here. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be the starter. But I could see you saying, hey, we're going to get you that last 30 to open up against Canada for you to be the hero versus forcing you to get kicked. Because if you looked against El Salvador, every time he got the ball and dribbled, they collapsed on him. Now, El Salvador won that battle. They won the ball more often than not. They did their job. But when they collapsed on him, there's a lot of space opening up for other players around the field if we can be smart enough to work them out. If he's getting double teamed or people are sort of targeting him and how they set up their defensive lines, it means that there's other space out there that we should execute. And so when he's on the field, we do have that advantage. But, again, it was an underwhelming performance for me in terms of Christian.
100%. I'm going to put a silver lining, though, on this Christian Pulisic talk, because what I find incredibly encouraging is that about 2 years ago, or there was a pocket of time, Heath, where if he didn't play well for us, we really struggled. And now we're at a point where if he doesn't play well for us, we have so many other options that can help us have success. And I think that is such a bonus, and we should be very excited. And we also know quite intimately that there is a nice bunch of younger players that are coming through that are going to be just as special.
Oh yeah,
if not more so in our youth national team. So yeah, exciting times all the way around. Christian Pulisic, I think, will find his form. I think he's battling a couple different things right now, and I think honestly, the best way to say it, he just seems to lack a little bit of confidence.